What is going on, everybody, and welcome back. Today, we are diving into the controversy around conditional finalities ornament, solo queue trials, and how it could just be better for the entire community. So let's jump on in. First up, let's talk about this absolute beauty of an ornament for conditional finality. You saw it in the thumbnail. You saw Benny's tweet. It is just gorgeous and a beautiful, beautiful design, but there is a huge problem. To get this ornament, you first need to go flawless in trials, then and only then can you purchase it with silver or wait for bright dust later on in the season. You're telling me we need to sweat my soul out to go flawless in one of the most annoying PvP modes to ever play and then open my wallet? That's not a reward. That's a double paywall of time and money, and it is just grossly wrong. Let's break it down a little bit because conditional finality is a raid exotic. Not everyone has it. Many people haven't touched Root of Nightmares or haven't got it to drop because of RNG. Now, if you're trying to get a reward for a gun for a flawless run and then putting it behind a paywall, it's like Bungie took 3 of the least acceptable parts of Destiny and just mashed them together. And don't get me started on the fact that the previous trials ornaments like Outbreak Perfected and the Ace of Spades didn't require a flawless run or a purchase. You could just get them with silver or you could just get them with bright dust. So now why this weapon? I get it's really good, but it's not as good as it used to be. So it's kind of surprising that they chose this. This should not be a reward for going flawless, and it shouldn't be something that you can buy, let alone combine together. At least not both. It should either be you get it as a reward for going flawless or X amount of wins and then to the lighthouse, or it should just be something that you can buy with real money if you want to, or with bright dust if that's a way to do it too. But having it be both is just so disrespectful to your player base, and it has got to change. Speaking of just trials in general, let's talk a little bit about this solo trials experience, aka my weekend emotional roller coaster. I used to try every single weekend to go flawless. I wasn't out here dropping 2.0 KDs, but I was able to get by. I have 80 plus flawlesses in the old system, which I know is not a lot. But in the current one, I only have 1. And that's because Waffle from our community got me to run a card with Pure Chill and Omelet. It was fantastic. Got a 7-card win, went to the flawless or the lighthouse on a flawless ticket, got a ton of loot. But there's no reason for me to try to go anymore. The only thing I would get is a glow. You can get all the armor, all the weapons, you can get all the cosmetics just from getting a 7-card win and then farming those wins over and over again. That's how I got the ship. That's how I got the Sparrow. But because I play mostly solo, and going flawless solo right now just feels like banging your head on a brick wall more than it ever used to. Cheaters, you get randomly paired with duos or trios. It's sweaty matchmaking. The maps half the time are not good. And sometimes I just don't play well. And that's completely fine. I'm not trying to go flawless every single weekend, but I do like the adepts. And I get it's a pinnacle mode. And not everyone's meant to go flawless, and I'm okay with that, but it is just exhausting. And I know I'm not alone. And the current setup floods the lighthouse with loot, but getting there is an issue. I get they wanted people to go to the lighthouse, and even on 0 win streaks, or you can get 7 wins at 100 losses and you still go to the lighthouse, which is really cool. But it makes me not want to go flawless anymore just to get the glow. But that begs the question of like, what can Bungie do? Obviously, get rid of the paywall, flawless wall for the conditional finality ornament. First and foremost, that just should not be a thing. But when it comes to solo queue trials and going flawless, because I still like to chase and go flawless, but it just seems a lot more impossible for me to get a 7-win, no-loss card just to get flawless. I like the new loot system. I think it's extremely rewarding, but I also miss the mercy card. Just having 1 loss forgiveness would make me try so much more. And I used to lose on my 7th match after 6 wins with Mercy, so I still had hope, but now it's just game over. Of course, you're still going to get extremely good loot with a 6-win streak. You can even get 4 adepts on a 3-win streak. And don't get me wrong, I don't think going flawless should be easy. It's called flawless for a reason, but I think part of the old system was better and more incentivizing for the more average community to try and go flawless. And now it's flooded with sweats and so much toxicity. If you lose one game, people leave and quit. People type in chat and call you ass and bad. And it's a game, guys. You're not going to win every single time, and that's okay. And Bungie tried to make it more accessible with win-based progression, and that's great. But in doing that, they took away tools that made flawless feel achievable for the more average player, and I feel like I fall into that category. I'm only a 1.17 overall in trials. I'm not amazing, I'm not goated, but I was able to go flawless every single weekend when I tried in the older system, and I enjoyed that. I looked forward to it every weekend. I don't think a total overhaul is needed, but hey, bringing back the Mercy card wouldn't help or hurt anybody. This leads me to the next point of this video. But with all this talk about trials and the incentive and what could actually help the player base grow, and I feel like that's what they tried to do with conditional finality, and they just fell flat on their face with it, is make it more accessible, more engaging, and easier to go flawless by introducing like the Mercy card like we used to have. But here is a spicy idea. Why not make a PvP exclusive exotic that drops from trials? Before you click away, before you go in the comments and say that's a terrible idea, make it a random drop from going to the lighthouse on an X amount of card win, whether that's 3, 4, 5, 6, etc. Doesn't necessarily have to be flawless, but there has to be a win streak involved. And if it had PvP and great PvE perks, that would drive people into the mode. It doesn't have to be a game-breaking, meta-defining weapon, but just make it desirable, make it worth the chase. I would spend countless hours in trials if there was a PvP exotic to go after. I mean, that's why I started doing PvE in the first place, was to go and get weapons that I couldn't normally get. I never used to raid. I never used to do strikes or anything, but once I did that and had a lot of fun doing it, and then I realized I can get great rewards out of that I then can take into PvP and that are worth using. I'm just saying, I'm spitballing here. If you like it, let me know. If you hate it, let me know. Just an idea. But it feels like we have 0 Crucible exotics, right? So why not just create one? I feel like that would be an extreme incentive, and that would build a bridge between both sides of the game at simultaneously increasing the player population, because everyone knows the trials population starts off and then just tanks. And then it just sweats and cheaters, and it's just not a good time. There's my rant. I know this was a bit more passionate and not a build video, but hey, I love this game. I care about this community, and I've said it before, when Bungie makes a mistake, it needs to be called out constructively. So those are kind of my thoughts on the matter. Let me know what you think in the comments. Should the finality ornament be a flawless only? Should it be a paid ornament, or do you like it how it is? Would you be interested in a PvP exotic, and what would you change about trials to make it better and more accessible for the average player? Drop a like if you enjoyed the video, subscribe if you are new, and as always, thank you so much for coming and watching, and I will catch you in the next one.